Hi, I'm Cal. Have you ever wondered why your reverb pedal, like this lovely one that I have, is so restrained to being not inside your computer? Well, I have, and today we're going to be sucking the soul out of your reverb pedal and putting it in your computer so that you have nice reverbs in your computer. This also works for other reverb producing things that are chronically outside of your computer, like my fancy old Behringer multi-effects unit that I've got. Let's do technical things.
Okay, so this is how you need to route your audio to suck the soul of your reverb pedal or other reverb generating device. I'm using the pedal here because it's just kind of easy to demonstrate just how small it is and how many few inputs and outputs it has. So, green cable is the output. So the output of the interface is going to the input of whatever is making your reverb, and then the output of your reverb device is going to the input of your interface. When you're doing this, it's rather easy to create a feedback loop because your output is going to your input. So make sure that whatever's coming in here isn't coming out of there. So you only want computer audio coming out of your interface, not what's going in the inputs, because otherwise it goes really loud and you can't really do anything, and it can be not very nice to listen to. So be careful when you're doing this. Make sure you've got like a low volume level or something. I just don't have this on, so no audio will come through anyway. Yeah, let's go to the computer now. Okay, so now that you've got your reverb creating device thing all hooked up to your interface, next thing you're going to do is open up this Deconvolver thing. I've got a link to this in the description. It's completely free, and it's what you're going to use to do the deconvolving. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a test tone and run it through your reverb. Make sure that your reverb isn't like on a completely wet signal. Set it to a 50% if you have a dry wet control. This is going to create your test tone, and then you run your test tone through your reverb once you've set some settings that you like the reverb of on your reverb thing. Once you've actually created this impulse response is what it's called, or a convolution reverb. That's the thing inside your computer. You can't change the settings afterwards, so make sure you've got a reverb you like. So you generate a test tone, you run it through the reverb, and then that goes back into the computer. So now you have the test tone with the reverb. And there's this thing called phase inversion, where you like flip the audio upside down. That's a very basic explanation. That's not actually what happens, but it's the easiest way to convey it. And since it's like flipped, if you were to play the test tone and the flipped test tone at the same time, because they're identical but inverted, they'd cancel out and nothing comes through. So what's going to happen is you've got the one with reverb and the one without reverb. And when you phase invert the one with reverb, with the one without reverb, sorry, it cancels out the test tone from the one with reverb. So you're just left with how the reverb unit responded to the test tone. Kind of complex, and you don't actually have to understand it, but that's how it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to generate a test tone, which there's a handy little button there that says test tone gen, and it opens up the test tone generator. If you've got a stereo reverb thingy, you can generate a stereo test tone if you want to record in stereo. However, I'm lazy and just doing it in mono. Also, I don't have enough cables to do it in stereo. So I've got mono test tone, and then you just generate that. I've already generated one, and I've put it into my DAW. And I've got, what is that? Why is there a third track here? There's not supposed to be a third track. Okay, so I've got two channels here. One of which with the test tone. That's what it sounds like. It's kind of loud, but, you know, just the way it is. It's important that it's loud. I'll talk about that later. It's a sine wave going from like 20 or 0 hertz or something, all the way up to some higher number of hertz, and it sweeps through the frequency spectrum. That's why it's called sweep something 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 .wav. Okay, so this is our test tone, and this channel is going out to the reverb unit, and also my headphones, because I haven't routed it to a separate output. I can't really do that. And here I have the input. So this is recording. I've got it armed for recording, as you can see. There's something already in here, because I've already like recorded it. But so this is going out to the reverb, and this is recording back in from the reverb. So this is going out the green cable that I showed you earlier, and this is recording what's coming in from the black cable. So if I was about to do it again, which I'm not going to because it's just more convenient because I'm recording and talking and I don't want to go messing with settings, I would turn the volume of the output on the interface like all the way up. And just something to mention, if you turn it all the way up, you also want to turn your input gain down because it's going to be a very loud sound and you can make it go clip and stuff because it's a loud sound. So turn your inputs down and turn your output up. You're doing this for signal to noise ratio reasons. You don't need to understand what that means. You just need to know that the output should be loud, the input should be quiet so that the loud sound doesn't clip. So then I'd hit Control R, and if you do turn it up, make sure you don't have speakers or anything or headphones on because it's pretty loud when you crank an interface all the way up. And then you just record that, and you'll have this second track here, or the recording track will have the test tone, but with reverb added. So it's kind of hard to hear, but there is reverb on that test tone. There is not reverb on this test tone. And now we go back to the Deconvolver. As you can see here, I've already got the stuff filled in here. Well, not here, but here. I've got the test tone. There's the test tone file thing. So you select your test tone with this browse button here. And then you need to select with this one and this browse button here, you need to select the audio that is the test tone with the reverb. So 1831 is the one I want. And it will show up in here. And then you can hit process. Ignore that, I've already done this, so it's a little annoyed at me because this file already exists. But for you, you should hit process, and this list, this name here, the like text here, will just disappear magically, and you will now have an identical file, apart from it says _dc.wav, as opposed to, so this one here is called 01-211-222_1831, and then it's going to produce another one which has the exact same name, so it'll be 01-211-222_1831_DC, and that's how you can tell which one has been deconvolved. So that's going to do all the like phase inversion and removing it, so it's going to produce something that just has the reverb, no filter sweet thingy, just the reverb. And you might be thinking, well, what do I do with that? That's just a .wav file. Well, there's plugins. So you plug it into a plugin. We're plugging the plugin into the plugin that's plugging into your DAW. We're doing a lot of plugging. So I've got this plugin here. There's a link to this one in the description as well as the Deconvolver. I've probably already said that, but both will be linked in the description, called SIR. And with this, you can load your deconvolved impulse responses. So make sure you select the one that says _DC. There's also the open file if you need the file browser. And with this, it loads your thing, your deconvolved reverb. So as you can see here, I've got this like melodica track that I'm recording for a cover. And if I bring this up, I can let me turn the reverb off first. Oh, it's already off. Okay. And this is what it sounds like without the reverb. And then if I turn the reverb on, there'll be reverb. Surprise, surprise. That reverb's kind of subtle, but it's definitely there. So one thing to mention is you can see here, I'm having to boost it 32 decibels. If you don't know how much 32 decibels is, it's a very, very large amount. Like if you're having to boost your audio 32 decibels, that means the signal is way too quiet. So since deconvolved files usually come out really quiet, I recommend bringing them back into your DAW, turning up the volume on them, and then re-exporting them, and then using them in your plugin to load impulse responses or whatever. And there you go. You got your reverb in your computer, and do that as many times as you want for as many different like setups or presets that your reverb has. As I think I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. These are just snapshots. You can't like turn the knobs like you would on your pedal when you're actually using it when it's inside your computer with the impulse response, because it's just a snapshot of how the reverb responds at that very moment. Yeah, there you go. Have a nice night. Have a nice day, whatever time it is for you. It's night for me right now. See ya.